Hi everyone, my name is Valerie Williams and I'm the moderator for this session today, and welcome to Herding Cats, Rewiring the Instructor's Brain Using Lessons. And we have presenters Corey Nicoletti and Louisa Lee, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about them before we get started. Corey Nicoletti is the Educational Technology Specialist at Marist College. He focuses on technology integrations, faculty support, best practices, and instructional design using Sakai. She loves classic brainstorming sessions with like-minded people to come up with new ideas, helping faculty navigate and master the learning management system. Corey works closely with an instructional designer and Sakai developers to offer regular workshops and training in addition to one-on-one assistance, while working to optimize the use of Sakai for faculty and students alike. In addition, Louisa Lee, is the instructional designer in digital education at Marist College. Her work focuses on faculty development training, technical support, course design, and research on innovative educational technologies. Louisa has over 10 years of experience in higher education, ranging from teaching, training, administration, and research. She's an active member of the Teaching and Learning Group in the Apereo community and has served as chair of Apereo Teaching and Learning Awards since fall 2015. Her recent research interests include the user experience on the Sakai platform, online course design, and faculty educational technology certification programs. So without further ado, please take it away, ladies.
Thank you very much. So welcome. I'm Corey Nicoletti. I'm joined via video, although she's next door. I could just knock on my wall. Louisa. So welcome to our presentation on herding cats. We thought it was very appropriate, not just for the jokes behind herding cats in general, but hey, Sakaigers. Let me see if I can get this to play. Oh man, don't fail me now. We might have this, hold on. Go. So we kind of felt that this was very appropriate for our presentation. Awesome. So I think I could go on that sound. So we kind of felt when it came to our faculty, we had our different approaches, and you feel like you just see differentiation see for our faculty. So I thought this was pretty appropriate. I think I feel it way but we definitely felt So just to start us off, this session is specifically about templates and a course template for our faculty, but we wanted to share some of our other approaches that we use on a regular basis, and we find that no right one is the answer, and while some are more successful than others, we find that each one has a special place when delivering our content to our faculty. So first and foremost, we have our workshops and our certificate tracks. We run an August and January Institute, which is a jam-packed week of workshops. We offer 3 to 4, sometimes 5 a day, the first week before classes, both in August and January before our prior fall and spring semesters. We do offer virtual attendance, and we do integrate certificate tracks as well for faculty to go through so many in order to have a certificate. Reactive response is probably something that everyone's very familiar with. That is your panicked phone call or the panicked email saying, well, I was grading things Saturday night and this is what was happening and help me now. And the downside to that is that as much as you solve the problem, the rate of occurrence, reoccurrence is incredibly high on those. We have faculty outreach, which is something that we've been working on a lot lately. We've actually specifically reached out to our schools and our deans here. We've specifically met with our schools usually it's during their faculty monthly meetings. And it's an opportunity for us to say, we talk to you on the phone all the time, here's our face, and let's open the door. Let's get the conversation going. What are your questions? What do you like? What do you not like? It's kind of that feature request or open faculty forum to talk about their experiences and any issues that they've come into. It's kind of a gotcha moment for, oh, you're here. Oh, I've been wondering this, but I haven't remembered to pick up the phone and ask. We do have self-paced support and documentation, whether it's videos, PDFs, or frequently asked questions. We have a message of the day. We actually have recently been using that for gifts, but recently in one of our faculty outreach experiences, we had a faculty member complain about it. So while the gift was great because we had this quick little gift to show people how to use site favorites, this faculty member said it really confused him because he couldn't figure out where his mouse was, and he couldn't figure out if the mouse was the one in the gift or if it was elsewhere on the page. So we definitely took that feedback and we probably won't be using so many GIFs. We'll probably alternate a few different things there. And we've also had some school-specific initiatives. Now, these are usually schools that have reached out to us for particular reasons to work with us. One thing that we've done was our MBA Innovation Seminar Series, which was a approach that we did some seminar series with a whole group, partnered with some one-on-one sessions. We are actually recently have partnered with our PA program to specifically work with and reach. Oh, I didn't realize that there were the cats were, sorry, thanks. Hopefully that's no longer an issue because the cats aren't going anymore. Sorry about that. I couldn't hear the sound here of the cats, so I didn't realize the cats were going off. So the physician assistant program is it allows us to focus on that, for lack of better terms, cohorts of faculty to focus on, you know, their specific needs. So they've actually said, well, we're really getting a lot of questions about gradebook. So let's do a workshop on gradebook. And then 2 weeks later, they're able to say to us, let's take another look at lessons. What can we do with that? How can we be more robust there? And last but not least was our iLearn course template for the School of Professional Programs. So this, Louisa's going to give you a little more information about. Give me a second. There we go. Or was this slide me? Was this you? This was you. This was me.
I think you have one more slide.
Okay, I'll do this one.
Yeah.
So this specific approach was what we did is using a new lessons tool. We wanted to encourage faculty to see the advantage of the lessons tool. But the biggest issue was that we needed to get in front of our faculty, and we didn't necessarily have the opportunity to do that. Louisa, I'm getting a little feedback. Is that off of you? Can you maybe mute until the next slide? I don't know if that's somebody else. I was going to say I heard someone breathing, but I think we're good. Perfect. We're good now. And I saw that in the comments. So with this, what we actually did is we created an entire template within iLearn, our version of Sakai, and encouraged all faculty for the School of Professional Programs to use this template. So the unique thing about the School of Professional Programs was that those faculty are kind of coming from all different places. The idea is that there's some tech classes in there, there's some communication courses in there. So faculty within the different schools contribute to that program. So we said, how do we get them to focus on one outline, one template, one format, and draw some congruencies for their students? So what we did is we were quite ambitious. We actually designed an entire template and titled it the School of Professional Programs template. And we had some very interesting experiences doing that. And this was our way to really get in front of faculty, and it provided a lot of gotcha moments. So take it away, Louisa. Don't forget to unmute. You're muted.
Yes. I forgot I was muted myself. Okay. So I'm going to show you what, as Corey said before, is kind of faculty before they create courses. So that is the entire Identify, and the students would see a consistent, so they feel more comfortable and feel more satisfactory of the learning experience. Good idea to incorporate some of the quality matters elements, information about accessibility, and the some other important information
Hey, Louisa, I'm going to pause you. You keep breaking
foremost,
up.
we want
Louisa.
to take advantage. Yeah?
You
really?
keep breaking. You
that
keep
bad?
breaking. Yeah, so why don't you come on over to my office?
All right, if you guys hold on for a second. Hi. Okay, it all works out. So let me just continue here. So ultimately, we want to take advantage of the Great Lessons tool. We create a streamlined learning path for students, and the page structure and navigation are highly adaptive, so faculty can have the freedom to customize their own course. And all those pages can be linked to other tools like assignments, test quiz, and the forum. So the page looks much cleaner and more consistent. So here are some screenshots. Oh, okay. So we actually received the request from School Professional Programs first. The dean reached out to us and asked if we have some solutions or recommendations for the course management system. And they have full-time faculty and adjunct faculty. And they have many different types of needs and different types of courses, different types of learning activities. How can we manage all those things? We are a small team, and we have a director and me, instructional designer, and also Corey, educational technology specialist. And we work together. We've been working together in the past 2 years, right? It's almost 2 years. Yeah, working on this template, and have its up and downs, right? Interesting experience. So here are some screenshots of the templates. Now, first of all, you can see that it's a design view. On the left menu bar, you can see that we created some lessons pages, modify the title page to indicate this is the template page. Faculty can come in and change those titles to what they like. For example, simply call it course creation. Now, if we move down here, and you can see all those learning tools are hidden. So forums, resources, assignments, tests, and quizzes, they are linked inside the lessons page. So if you look at the left side very quickly here, and you can see this forum is linked in the lessons page, right? So if we look at the other parts of the left menu, these are standards, gradebooks, statistics, roster, setting for those are what you usually find on the menu bar. So one thing I wonder if you have noticed, we removed the overview button there. So due to a number of discussions with faculty and also survey with several people, we run a UX testing. We found out that not a lot of people use overviews, especially students. They don't actually use it. And those information you can embed into lessons. So in a template, we just took the big leap and we removed the overview page. We're going to talk to you about the response from faculty later. So Yeah, next page. Yeah, sure. Thank you. So this is the inside the lessons page. We also created this structure for the faculty. So if they usually have 8 weeks, so we create this 8 weeks sub pages. They can plug in their content in there, and then for example, if they click week 1, this is what it will see. We created this page. We have welcome and discussion linked here to give them a hint. You know, you don't have to tell students to go to the forums. You can just link it here. If you have quizzes or assignments, you can link them here in a similar fashion. So students will find things easier. So this is what we call a streamlined learning path. Right. I think we have one more. Yes. So this is also what we modified in the syllabus. We plug in multiple items with very descriptive titles. These are the recommended sections of the syllabus. And for example, we have grading evaluation, grading rubrics, schedules, and most important of all, we have this standards blurb of various policies, academic honesty, ADA, additional support, NetCat. So all those policies are consistent across the SPP syllabus, and the faculty doesn't have to look around and see what kind of wording they need to use, or the links have to be updated. So it's a little bit less trouble on their end. Hopefully, they are gonna accept the template with wholeheartedly. They are very happy and very satisfactory. Is that the case, Corey?
So, what happened? So we're going to address Linda's question here, actually. Before I move forward, I do see a comment about the lessons tool acting as the central hub. Obviously this was a little more forcible to have people to hide those items to kind of encourage that. Another comment was, so is this the standard template the faculty are presented with when a new course is made, or an opt-in situation? It kind of lends we're about to go over. It's a little bit of both. It is an opt-in. We found faculty didn't realize they were opting in some places. So it was specifically encouraged for our School of Professional Programs. Now, we do have other schools. We do have the School of Management, School of Science. This was specifically geared towards our School of Professional Programs faculty. So what happened? We got some interesting comments. We had one faculty member call up who said, can we just unhide everything? That's not how I do it, and I don't have time for this. So that was interesting. So we had a faculty member who just was like, nope, nope. So we did walk her through that, and she just removed and deleted everything we had put in the template. Someone else said, is this required? And that was kind of the perspective of, well, let's share the advantages, but no, it's not. So it kind of gave us an opportunity to have the conversation, but at the same time, they were like, but is it required? But is it required? We also had some faculty who said, well, I created my site and I went to import my content, but what is all this SPP stuff? What's SPP? So we had faculty in other schools who were accidentally creating their courses using this template, even though it was labeled School of Professional Programs template. So there was a lot of confusion, a little bit of frustration, some people indifferent, other people, it did kind of open it up to say, here's some cool stuff you could be doing. It kind of provided a teachable moment, albeit maybe not at the best time. So something we learned was SPP, school, template specific documentation. Here is documentation on how to change the titles. Here is, we found that some faculty, it's quite often they set up their course twice a year, and 6 months from January to August to January again, they needed a refresher. So having a documentation that partnered the template probably would have helped us a little bit. We now have it. It has helped us. Probably would have helped us push the initiative a little more to say, here, let me walk you through this. Here's how you can edit what's hidden and what's not. So other complaints, I know someone asked, I think it was Linda, how do students see their feedback on tests and quizzes? So that was another item that we didn't take into account. So that was where we had to walk faculty through enabling that tool again. So it was kind of an interesting approach, which did lead to a feature request there. We had some faculty who looked at the syllabus and said, well, all these names are wrong. How do I change these names? You know, how do I edit this? How do I edit that? And that occurred in the syllabus tool as well as the lessons tool. We had some import issues. So faculty who had previously used the template and now they're using it again, well, now they didn't need the template features we had built in. They didn't need the subpages and modules we had built and facilitated. So there was kind of a loss of communication that happened of, well, what do I do the second time around? Can I just create a regular course and import content now that I've used and applied the template? So there's kind of some duplicates that then occurred there. We also had some issues with the upgrade. You know, we've been upgrading pretty much every time there's been a new update coming out. So we did our initial Sakai 11 upgrade in July of 2016, and every time something else has come up, we've bumped up. So I think we've upgraded 5 times now since. So one of the things that we've had to be super attentive to is changes and updates to that not not only affected the documentation we created, but then affected the template itself and how that was then used and implemented. So this was a really interesting approach. I think to some extent it was super ambitious. We definitely had some lessons learned, but it wasn't a complete loss. It was definitely a really great approach. It was definitely a great way to say to faculty like, hey, by the way, it can do this. So we did have a lot of faculty who kind of adapted their approach. So instead of, you know, it being not using the template at all or totally using the template, we did find a lot of faculty fell in the middle somewhere. It was a really, I'd say the biggest benefit, I don't know if you would agree, Louisa, was a lot of faculty were like, oh, what's this lessons tool? So that's where we kind of took the opportunity to be like, well, let us tell you. So that was kind of neat. So another thing was faculty buy-in. As we previously mentioned, because this was our template for SPP and faculty come from a few different walks of life, we have so many different subject matter experts coming into play here. How was the best way to get into touch, you know, with what they're doing and whatnot? So tons of adjuncts there, some full-time faculty who teach full-time for a different school, but teach one course for SPP. So it was a unique dynamic there as well that we're still kind of trying to figure out. We had absolutely amazing administrative support and collaboration. The dean there was really a driving force and factor behind this initiative. So he specifically saw the benefit for having things to be streamlined and having a consistent look and feel. And we've been able to kind of approach that in another way with our MBA seminar series. Those faculty use the same banner and kind of outline and set up there. So it was a little different approach with the same end goal. So different successes there. And last but not least, the session I did before this, if you didn't get to attend, another way we kind of attacked it was the online student orientation. So we continue to update, model, and gain feedback on that so that we're actually keying into our students to say, hey, this is Sakai and look what it can do. So we then can use that as a faculty to say, well, this is what your students go through before they see you, check it out. So it kind of gives our faculty a walkthrough there. So, here, what, you want to talk about that?
Okay. So the overview is a pretty interesting phenomena. When we first introduced the new changes of the template, which is the removal of the overview icon there, the couple of faculty we talked to from SPP, they were very excited because it's so nice to have a landing page of the course instead of the clunky overview page. And we thought it was wonderful, and because we had a faculty buying of our new template adaptation. But then just right before this presentation, we went in to check our faculty and see how they were doing. And they secretly put the overview back. So we thought it was interesting how they changed their ideas after a while. And definitely the announcement feature is very important. Hopefully when we upgrade to 12, we have the capability of putting the announcement inside the lessons, so they kind of can mimic the overview layout. They have all the elements they want in the lessons. So hopefully they can create a more ideal landing page for their course. Yeah, that's a very interesting development just happened.
There was a comment that came up about the for Oxford. They mentioned that they have a department that uses a similar template with their staff, mainly using the lessons tool and hiding the overview, as well as institutional templates were built using both lessons and overview. So I think the hardest part for us there was getting that buy-in and trickling down that information. So it was kind of both a top-down and bottom-up approach. So bottom-up for us as support staff, saying here is the new innovative ways to do things, followed by, you know, the top-down model where the dean was recognizing the advantages to having something a little more standardized and streamlined. So Valerie commented, we have standardized template for our online master course shell and our hybrid master course shell. It's wonderful to be able to implement QM, OLC, and our institutional standards into the course design. It remains aligned and user-friendly each time the course is run. So if I actually may ask back to the two of you, how do you enforce that? Is that more of a faculty understanding? I could definitely see it's sometimes a little easier to do that for online courses to follow a similar template or approach. For our MBA program, we kind of had to rally our faculty and cheerlead and wave some pom-poms around, and we really had to push the pedagogical design benefit behind it to our subject matter experts. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced the same. So Valerie said it's a requirement at the school to follow the course design process before the course is launched. Good to know. So, you know, definitely a few different approaches to that and what you can do with your schools and departments and approaches there. So the advantage I think we had here was that the dean of the School of Professional Programs was on board, and, you know, getting that to trickle down 2 days before the semester started was a little difficult. That's when we got those panicked calls. So Terry said it would be interesting to do more of a modern website styled landing page, go for a sleek designed look. Absolutely. We definitely, we have some faculty who have gotten a little overwhelmed at that. We actually did build into our MBA seminar series. I actually built an entire lessons page about using the Marist banner. So that was kind of there of how to add the banner. Here's the PNG, here's the code, click on source. So this was actually kind of a walkthrough built into lessons about how they could implement that in their courses. So we had the large banner at the top, followed by our subheading banner. So different source code, again, another walkthrough in applying that. So that was one approach we used there. So somebody else said, since the implementation of the template, have you had specific school disciplines requesting custom templates to serve as a way to create a brand? How would you approach this with this template? We haven't, and we have specific to the Marist MBA, it was a little different approach. It was an innovation seminar series. So we were able to gain a lot of buy-in in the workshops that the faculty attended. We offered specific workshops on automation and transformation and andragogy and building an online community. So a lot of the organic conversation that came from those seminars led to the student experience. And it kind of got into this great conversation about that consistency across the board. So at this point, it's kind of been an opportunity. We've been working a lot with the PA program as well. And I think a lot of the approach is, you know, us saying, well, here's your options, here's your choices, what do you think? And really working on that buy-in with them for them to see the approaches. So it can be kind of difficult just because I think a lot of faculty assume that there's a lot of work behind it, which is why it was helpful for us to develop this documentation to say, no, take a look at this. Here's your walkthrough. You save the image, here's your source code, and you run with it. So I think a lot of it kind of came behind setting expectations and showing options. You know, and we're really working on opening those doors. We've taken a few different approaches, as I shared in the beginning with that too. I don't know if you have anything to contribute.
Yeah. So the MBA is definitely also a unique case. You can see on the shared screen, we have this banner there, even though it's not that hard to create, but that's from our perspective. From the faculty, they have this mindset that I'm technically illiterate. Don't let me do anything. But because they were in this innovation seminars, the first-hand experience how it might help them when they are in the course as a student. They see a different perspective. So gradually they turn around. So they actually work on the banner themselves, you know, put it into their own course. So it's very interesting how you get the faculty buy-in when you cannot do a top-down. So Fawi, I definitely agree with you there. You know, top-down sometimes it's really easy, but you know, what do you know faculty really thinking? And if we want them to continue this path, we need their sincere buy-in. You know, wholeheartedly they want to use this. They have this internal motivation to continue on this path. Otherwise, every time they will moan, they will struggle and make technical calls. They don't want to remember any of the instruction we gave them before. So definitely, if we can combine both approaches, right? Top down, we have administrative buy-in, they support us, and we also talk to faculties and each individually or as a group. They agree to do this. That would be fantastic.
So one thing to contribute, and this is something that I didn't put into the part of this because it was about a different school, is speaking of our Marist MBA seminar series, is we had my presentation before this was about some data we got back from institutional research, and through exploration of that, we got information regarding student feedback on iLearn website and iLearn resources. And the MBA feedback jumped crazy, actually. The iLearn website went from an 81.6% satisfaction rate in 2016 to a 90% satisfaction rate. The iLearn resources satisfaction rate went from 80% to 95%. So that's a 15% jump there. So as much as we can speculate, part of me is sitting here saying how much of that, and you never know until you like actually maybe like hunt down these students. Just kidding. How do you know if that's in response to the banners, if it's because faculty in that group that we worked with about 12 to 13 full-time faculty in 2 different phases to implement these banners and this feel. So how much of what we did fed back on them? So it's kind of neat to kind of take that, and you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that the institutional templates are optional. They're optional here too, but it's these statistics that are kind of pushing the initiative for us to be able to say like, hey, this is what the data said. So that was actually a big push behind our online student orientation, is the online student orientation satisfaction rate was 100%. Not 98, not 95, it was 100%. So that spoke huge things. So that spoke volumes from the political aspect of things, is saying like, this is clearly an advantage and something that we need to do for everybody. So I think that kind of helped push the institutional buy-in in some places like that. So Terry said I'd most likely create my own banners for my classes. I'm assuming it's easy. It normally is for me. I just upload the proper sized banner.
Terry, you are teaching digital media.
That's her specialty. Terry actually recently did a faculty showcase for us and rocked it. So she's really wonderful.
Yeah. So one last comment I want to add is that I think we really need to emphasize the importance of UX research. just like doing a very simple banner, it just increased the satisfaction rate so high. We talked to a few students and the faculties randomly, not any type of research. We just talked to them, and they say, "Oh, when I in Ireland, I don't know where I am because every site looks the same." Well, at first we thought, yes, that's the point. We keep every site consistent. You see the same menus, you see the same font, you see the same color, but then they tell us, how do I know where I am? I want to know where I am. Yes, that's the importance of banner. Even just such a little simple thing, right? Make a big difference. So I really think we need to do some UX research on that.
I'm just gonna, as we're wrapping up, I'm just gonna change the audio settings, so bear with me. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to change, we had it set to the headset, it's a little difficult for us to keep putting this on, so is there any other questions? So we included some screenshots in the slides for how we attacked that. This format, we especially included that page of our different approaches to faculty outreach. So Linda said one issue we ran into with this type of template is it worked fine for the initial build, but the second semester. Linda, we had that too, is we had faculty who did follow the template and then that was an issue for importing. So at that point, that's where our documentation came into play to kind of say, is this your first time or have you done this before? And then if you've done it before, use the generic course template and do a standard import instead of bringing in those template pages that were a little more of a, those custom names where they are, there's all sorts of different things there. Here we go. Let me pull this up. So like the lessons tool was called SPP template. And part of the reason we did that is we had a lot of people who would accidentally download this and then add their syllabus and then say, why is there all this stuff here in the syllabus? I have my syllabus. Why does it say grading, evaluation, and rubrics? And I don't use rubrics or, that kind of thing. So that was an interesting flip side there is that we realized that was kind of a trial and error lessons learned was where the specific documentation came into play. So. But.
Yeah, I think we're right on time.
We are. Mm-hmm. So it is 4:43.
Yep.
Valerie contributed. We handle all this for the instructor from the import on the for the online master hybrid template. So, that's definitely another approach. I think we've thought of that before here too, especially for SPP. They've implemented master sites and they don't want faculty to touch the master sites because that was developed content that's been approved and has the, QM flag of approval or something like that. So that kind of got tricky from a staffing perspective. We're a super small team over here. Terry said, I don't want a master template. I love my freedom. So we're small over here. So we had to think of that from a staffing perspective and how we might deal with that in the future.
Yeah, the master sites are not a herds of cats we're going to discuss next time.
Yes, it's a whole nother herd. I think that one's more like, I don't know, think of another animal. Herding. Well, dogs are a little easier to herd. But
yeah.
Anyways, so I think that pretty much wraps us up. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Oh, we have 2 minutes. So it was an interesting approach. It's of course depends on team by team, and that's where we took it. So lots of lessons learned, lots of options.
Yeah. Another thing during the process of creating the template is that we really hope that the tools could be consistent over the board. So for example, if you have tests and quizzes, you really cannot access the feedback and the grades through lessons. You have to go to the test and quiz tool. Instead, if you have assignments, you can look up the results just there in the lessons. And unfortunately, you have to unhide tests and quizzes if you use it. And it just sometimes mess up the whole design. yeah, hopefully the others have the same concern. I think there was a Jira tickets about it somewhere, and we can make it better in Sakai 12.
So thank you for joining us. I think Valerie's going to wrap us up here.
Absolutely. We certainly appreciate the both of you and all the thought that has gone into this and the sharing as well. I would ask that everyone give them an email, Corey or Louisa, if you have additional questions about the innovative things that they're doing at Merit.
Oop, you muted yourself halfway through, I think.
I'm sorry, guys. We also ask that you have a nice day with the rest of the sessions that are coming up next.
Yep, feel free to reach out to us. It's our first name dot last name at marist.edu. I'll make sure I put that with the slides. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.